Hello and welcome. So this is the Buryan, I think the 1000th version of an object. As you can see, it's pretty flat, typical object design, Russian heavy. Let's first take a look about the armor. That thing is actually pretty good armor. So against its own cannon, you can see it has maybe some weak spots in the turret and in the lower plate, especially if you shoot heat, which has 350 millimeters penetration, which is pretty strong. This tank basically becomes butter in front, also the upper plate. With turret weak spots, of course, too. You can't side scrape, maybe some shots will be absorbed in the tracks, but all in all, a strong heat is an absolute nightmare for this tank. Standard penetration is 255 millimeters, and as you can see, this is not really enough for anything. It also can kind of side scrape, then this part here becomes a weak spot, but if you're not in close combat, you can have some lucky bounces here and then. The HE shells are 65 millimeters, which is pretty useless against itself. Even the back is too much armored for this. So this looks like it's pretty balanced armored, huh? But you should consider that this thing might be fighting against tier 8 as well, and just for the fun of it, I put it against the Zwilling cannon, the E65, which is tier 8, and this is the premium shell with around 273 millimeters, and this already struggles pretty much against it. Depending on the part of a turret you have to hit first, it goes from quite a good chance to basically pretty much 50% gambling, even with a lower plate, and it becomes much more effective in side scraping. Now, if you shoot with your tier 8 tank, standard penetration of, for example, 220 millimeters, it's basically game over. I mean, you can snipe for the weak spots, maybe the cupolas here, those weird things in front, like 40% chance. Yeah, but all in all, I would say good night for most tier 8 tanks, especially lights and mediums. This thing might be becoming kind of a defender against lower tiers, or for example, the Udani. But let's now take a look at the stats. I put in, of course, here the best equipment like Bond Vents, Bond Rammer, and Bond Vertical Stabilizer. Of course, you can play it with something else, but this is just for getting the best gun handling, in my opinion. Also, I maxed out the field modifications here without choosing one. Put in food and the essential cruise skills, I think, which are important. So first thing you will recognize is the very high DPM. The 3500 is going to be such an annoying pain. It sports 520 alpha damage, combined with a not too bad aim time of 2.10, around that. So it will be aimed in kind of fast for a heavy. The dispersion is still nothing you want to use in mid or long range fights, but this thing will just drive right in front of your face, so dispersion I think doesn't matter so much. Dispersion factors are actually pretty unfair, I would say, because they are very good for close combat fighter. Also the dispersion after firing is with 2.17, not very much considering it's a heavy tank. You can get almost Bruchetto 46 like gun handling on this tank. Top speed 38 kilometers per hour, mediocre I would say. Traverse speed not the best, but workable for a heavy. Terrain resistance actually the exact same like the Kame tank, so I guess it will feel a little bit sluggish when it starts driving. Gun elevation and gun depression are exactly the same like the Kame, with 15 degrees of gun elevation and 7 degrees of gun depression. It's workable, but not too comfortable. Almost 2000 HP health, mediocre I'd say. Together with a quite good armor I think this will work, and camo of course is garbage. And fun fact, view range also the same like the Kame tank, with the same equipment. So what can we say at the end about this tank? It will be an absolute pain, I think. It will drive right in your face and then give you 3500 DPM. If you're playing low tier, you can't even defend yourself pretty much against it. So try to keep a distance, try to flank it if possible, and if you can, shoot heat. If you have over 300 millimeters of penetration, the upper plate and the lower plate becomes a valid target. This tank will highly suffer against other tier 9 tanks with heat, and especially tier 10 and tier 11 tanks, which we see a lot of in this current matchmaking. If you play tier 9, make up your mind if that's worth it for you. Thank you guys for watching, and cheers bros!